Looking now at Alexander Isak, he played 45 minutes, had 17 touches, obviously that one goal just before the first half finished and created one chance. Now, he was told at half-time that he wouldn't go to the dressing room and had to do sprint instead of the GPS monitor. Nigel, is this just showing that he isn't fully fit yet?
The only thing you need to pay attention to for me, Hannah, is that one there that says goals. He's a striker. Grella will tell you, there's nothing more to a striker than getting that first goal, getting that monkey off that back, the weight, the expectation. He's going to grow with it. And when you look at the finish, it's a fantastic finish. It's a striker's finish. He knows exactly where the goal is. Goalkeeper tries to cheat, but that there is a cheeky near post. This is what an accomplished striker does. Look at the caress of the ball into that near post area. Some players will probably miss from that. That is the biggest moment and most important thing he did in the game today. We said it before we had discussions. He hasn't had a proper pre-season. So for me, it's no surprise he came off at half-time. He's still building fitness. Something that I've had to go through in my career when you didn't have a pre-season and you go into a season, you've got this mentality as a player where you think you're invincible, you can get through it by playing games and getting fit. It doesn't work like that. When you play games and you don't have the foundation, you're more likely to break down. That is why professional players have to have a pre-season. Pre-season is to build that foundation to go the rest of the season. So for me, how they're handling Alexander Isak is credible to Liverpool. They're being smart behind it. There's a lot more science in the game. But probably Grella can add to it more than I can. Being a striker, you've got the selfishness of scoring goals. Scoring goals is the most important thing. And now he got his first Liverpool goal. It will take a weight off him, but he has to still be patient with his build-up. And that's all I pay attention to. He got his goal. Yeah. That's what's important. Continue to build his fitness.
Would they buy him for £130 million, you said? I mean, he's a £130 million asset. He's a £130 million asset for Liverpool, right? So they have to ease him in. There's no reason to rush him. Ekitike is scoring goals, so there's no reason to rush him. They let him go. But Isak also, I want to say this, and obviously, listen, I don't have 8 eyes. I'm not like some special creature where I could watch all the games at once.
Spider, yeah. Spider.
Does a spider have 8 eyes, though?
They do now.
Yes.
They do now. Hey, Sierra Leone spiders have 8 eyes.
Okay, all right, fine. But I'm not a spider. Couldn't watch all the games. But I will say this. Isak, for me, went for $130 million because he's not just a striker that pops up in this moment to score goals. He's the guy that, like, links play. He can go by guys 1v1. He can go out to the channel and has a bunch of quality in his delivery and his finishing. And he adds so much to the team. That's why they went for a player like him. And I'm not sure that so far, early days, that they're getting the best out of the best version of him. Yeah, okay.
He's still fit, early. Grella.
It's still early.
He's not fit.
He's not. I'm not. All right. Can I just say what I saw today or no?
No, go.
I'm just saying, like, I know it is sometimes as simple as you're signed to score goals and you score your goals and that's it, you move on. But also there's another element to his game. He's one of the best strikers in the world because he doesn't just stay between the center backs and score goals. He can do everything. A little bit like Harry Kane, a little bit like these strikers that can come in and link, and he's smooth on the dribble and everything else. And I don't know if they're getting the best out of him yet. I'm sure they want to see more and they want to see it fast. But of course it takes time. That's why at halftime he had to run more. It was good to see that he got his goal. Federico Chiesa with 2 assists. So a lot of positives on the day, but still, I think, there's a big room, a higher ceiling that they haven't reached.
I 100% agree with that part that you said about we haven't seen what's to come. We're getting a glimpse of what's to come with him scoring goals. His job, his #1 job for Liverpool, is not the link-up play, in my opinion. You have players, you have the Florian Wirtz, you have Mohamed Salah, who will help with that. His sole job is to come in and score goals, and I applaud Arne Slot because other managers would maybe ease him in and not give him the start. And as we talked about the importance of the Carabao Cup, he took a gamble. He could have gotten injured. He didn't. And you talk, Nige, about managing minutes, the assets. He is a Rolls-Royce of a footballer, and I love that they're using halftime to get him minutes. But I want to talk about other players. Hugo Ekitike. What a moment of madness for him. You do your job, getting the goal. But Nige, I mean, you're a captain in the locker room. What's the words you would have had with him after the match, knowing that the Palace match is coming up? You get your goal, and then you want to have your personal moment to shine, take the jersey off, and then show it to the crowd. It's stupid.
I'll just say, what were you thinking, lad? That's what you got to say. What were you thinking? I mean, it's a silly second booking. You should be very aware of your first booking. To already be booked in yellow card and then to take your shirt off, knowing the rules of the game, it's a moment of madness. I know sometimes as players we get caught up in the moment, the adrenaline and everything that goes on, but it's a real silly booking. You let your team down with everything that's going on. Obviously we saw Isak coming off, Now you put yourself in. I think Arne Slot's expression at the end of the game tells you a lot right now that he's very upset.
Yeah, taking a look now at the yellow cards, we can see when Hugo Ekitike received them. So the first one happened in the 52nd minute. Tell us why he got this, Grella. Why did he get a yellow card here?
That's a good question, Hannah.
That's why he got the yellow card. There you go.
I thought it was for the first grab, but okay. But then he volleyball punts it there, and then the second one he takes his...
That's descent. And then obviously, probably the frustration for missing that first chance, and then this one there, it's just a moment of madness, lapse of concentration. And again, you talk about all the other players should have been, what are you doing? Players should have been running straight to him. As soon as he starts, pull your shirt back down. Moment of madness that it's hard to forgive that.
Because it's not
a child.
It's not even like it was a tackle. They could have been so easily prevented.
It's a little bit ironic, right, the moment, because he does something, you used the word personal before, but he does something because he scores the goal and he does something out of a raw emotion and he's showing his jersey, right? But then it ends up actually hurting the team in the long run because
hurts him.
Maybe Isak is not ready to start in the next games or whatever. And also Ekitike is a weapon on his own. He's almost scoring a goal a game if you look up all competitions and the minutes that he's played. So to do that, it's not only just a moment of madness, it's a moment of, hey, this is about me, because he's showing his jersey. And so I'm sure he'll learn from it for sure, because at that level, when you're at a club like Liverpool, it's never about you. It's always about what's best for the club. And obviously what's best for the club in the next match is that he's there. And he won't be. And
and it's a tough fixture because they're going to play a Crystal Palace side. There's not going to be no rollover. They're going to be very hard to beat. And Ekitike started great at Liverpool so far, scoring goals, doing everything that we probably expect. He's probably exceeded expectations by most people for how he started because Isak was the man. But to do that, like you said, to make it about yourself, pulling your it was just unnecessary. And it'll probably make Arne sort of look at him to say, I don't know, I mean, I can trust you to a certain degree, but he'll have to start to reevaluate how much he can trust you as a player because you've got the experience. There's no need after a silly booking. If you're going to get booked, I always say get booked for a tackle at least. Get booked for something that's worth it. But don't get booked for something like that, for petulance and dissent with a referee.
Also, you wonder,
the ball away.
You wonder if there's frustration, right?
There absolutely is.
Obviously, when I played and they would sign, they'd sign a big player, right, for a lot of money, and obviously you're doing well. You don't want to come. You don't want to come off. You don't want to stop your flow. You're playing. You're scoring goals. You're doing well. And the writing's on the wall, right? They sign Isak because Isak is going to play in that position. Or sooner or later, Isak is going to play in that position. So maybe you've shown a little bit of frustration. I know as a player, you always think you're the best, right? You don't think anyone's better than you, and you work hard to get to that level. And then Isak comes in, and the whole story's about him. And you see a little bit of frustration. It's also possible, but it's not a good look at the end of the day.
And the thing I always respected about the managers I played for was their ability to manage a locker room. Liverpool, they're spoiled for riches, as you said, Nige. But now the question I have for Arne Slot is how do you manage this? You have two strikers who are going to get you goals. Both of them want to play, and I love that you mentioned the frustration. I think you're bang on with that. That was a moment of frustration. It's a player who thinks he should be the guy, and up until late on in the transfer window, he was told he's the guy. This has elements of Darwin Núñez a bit. A player who was bought in before to be the main man for Liverpool, feels a bit slighted, and then starts having, the misses aside, starts having moments of madness in his own personal life. But
I disagree with you on that one. I don't think it's the same as Darwin Núñez. I think that when Liverpool got Ekitike, I think that they would have had conversations to let him know that you may not be the only one. Because Liverpool are building for something great, that it's about competition, being competitive, and everyone has to earn the right to play. Everyone's going to have competition for places. Ekitike is also very versatile, where if they need to be, which I think is what probably will happen, is Isak will be the main striker, Ekitike will go on the left-hand side, and maybe Gakpo will be the one that has to sit on the bench or maybe come on. But I think there is a world where they both can play and start. Today was just a moment of madness.
Is there a world where Federico Chiesa doesn't make a name for himself and get back and get more minutes?
Chiesa was fantastic today, but obviously with them keeping him out of the Champions League squad, that tells you enough already with what he is. And he's been fantastic from how he started the season, but I just don't see him being a regular starter of one of the main names in there. He'll be a squad player, which is what they're going to use him to do. And he's done well. Grella talks about how he's come back from what he's come back from. But there is going to be a world where we will see Ekitike and Isak together on the same pitch. I think, like Grella said, made a great point, making it about yourself. When you take off your shirt and show your name, you're trying to tell the fans, this is me. And it was just the wrong moment at the wrong time for being too emotional And you can't make it about you at the clubs like Liverpool.
But Nigel, there's always going to be friction, right? Yeah. You were a fantastic ball winner, right? But what about if the manager came in and said, hey, listen, we got another fantastic ball winner. We're just going to push you out to the you're going to go out to the wing. And you're going to play as a left midfielder.
It wouldn't happen.
Is that his response tells you everything you need to know, right? It won't happen, right? There's pride, there's courage, there's bravery in that. And that's every human being, that's every player, right? They're not going to say, oh, yeah, Isak's here, here's the red carpet, there you go. So the players are human beings.
But there are human beings, because there is a point in my career where I was playing centre midfield and then another centre midfielder was brought in. Couldn't do what I do. But then because the manager trusted me, 100% couldn't do what I do.
See, but that's what I mean.
But I was moved to a different position. And that's when I started to play at right back. Then I played at right midfield. And my thing was, it was a manager had to accommodate and justify bringing someone else in. But it wasn't we were the same player.
But you took it personal.
I still played and I had to get on with it.
You took it personal.
But I didn't take it personal. I still enjoyed it and did it. It was the respect to the manager.
The disappointing thing with all this is Liverpool get the result, right? Both strikers score. And look at what we're talking about. And
also we're not making.
We're not making stuff up. But look at what we're talking about instead of what we should be talking about. Chiesa, man of the match in my opinion, 2 assists, right? The disrespect and feeling slighted, not making the Champions League squad. We should be talking about this. Leone, who I thought was good, hopefully he's not injured for a long time. We don't know what happens. Those 2 players are the best 2 players on the pitch for Liverpool.
The 2 Italians?
The 2 Italians. And yet, because Hugo Ekitike has this moment where he's like, I can't even take my jacket off because I'll rip it, has this moment where he's like, I'm the main man. Now we're talking about this. That discipline issue has to be sorted by Arne Slot. This is a small crack in the pavement.
Let's take it back.
What's been a good start to the season.
Let's take it back a step, right? Because I was one of the people who was very critical when we started this show, saying about Southampton, they're not taking it seriously, they're treating it like a day out in Anfield. We got to give them credit. They made 8 changes today, and they took Liverpool a long way. Liverpool were not fantastic. They got the job done. Let's just give it to that. Yes, Chiesa, 2 assists, good game. But Liverpool are not fantastic. The same thing we've seen of them at the start of the season, chemistry issues and how they're really gelling together, that was still evident today. So we can't give them all the credit like they absolutely dismiss Southampton. Southampton deserve more credit for the performance that they put into their Anfield than Liverpool do. I would say Liverpool got the job done. Isak scored. That is it. But I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it was a great performance by Liverpool.
And what's that say for the 9 changes in Southampton, or 8 or 9 changes in Southampton?
For Southampton?
What's that say for the guys that play every single weekend in the Championship, which is their priority? That's like jobs up for grab there, the kind of performance from Southampton, because they were good for 90 minutes.